First, the latest job numbers out today. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, 1.3 million Americans filed for unemployment claims last week, down 7% from the week before. That's a good trend. We've seen this trend for a while, even though still historically high. Let's talk about the road to recovery. To weigh in, we welcome our A-plus panel for the hour, editor-in-chief of Money.com, and that's Katherine Tuggle, and former director of the SEC Division of Investment Management, Norm Champ. So, Katherine, I'll start with you. How do you look at these numbers? What should we be watching?
Well, we've seen a steady decline since April for jobless claims. 18 million people are now collecting unemployment benefits. We're sitting at 11.1% unemployment, and experts say that we should be looking to hover at around 10%. So the numbers are great. I think we just have to keep our eye on it and see what happens as some states may start to re-shutter businesses like restaurants and other businesses in the hospitality sector.
Norm, we have that $600 that's going to go away at the end of July. How's that going to affect everything?
If you look at the reports, I think for a lot of folks who are on unemployment, it is going to be a signal, and a step to step up the search to get back to work based on anecdotal accounts. So that's going to be tough as people get out there and do try to get jobs. I do think the United news is important as well because I think it also stresses the unevenness of this recovery. So we're going to have some things go up, and the numbers are better, but then you've got United with the layoffs. I was looking at state-by-state unemployment numbers, and you see that unemployment in some of the eastern states, like Massachusetts and New York, is almost double some of the western states that are more spread out, have had less impact. So I think all of this news is telling us that we're going to have an uneven path back to full employment.
Katherine, let me ask maybe a stupid question, but if the virus were gone tomorrow, would we be back to normal fairly soon?
That's a great question. I mean, there was a study showing that of small businesses, that 78% of them have reopened. And for that remaining percentage that hasn't reopened, they may never come back. So I think that, yeah, we would see certainly restaurants bustling, things like museums and amusement parks like Disney would certainly go right back to normal. But I think that we do have to consider that there will be a percentage of businesses that will never come back from this.
Norm, let's go back to the United Airlines story. So obviously we heard that. Do we expect to see some similar things from other airlines?
I think so. If you follow the news recently with the airborne nature of the virus, more pressure on public health authorities to start looking into the airborne issues, I do think there's going to be hesitancy by on planes. Now, interestingly, the HEPA filters, which are being mandated for some businesses in New York, HEPA filters actually exist on planes, and they do cleanse the air, and then actually most of the air on planes is vented out. So general airborne on a plane, not that great a risk, if you're sitting right next to someone, obviously. But it's not clear whether that kind of detail is going to get out there and get people comfortable with flying. So I do think we may see some bad news from other airlines as well. The government stopped them from doing any layoffs till October 1. Let's see where we are. Hopefully things get better. And as United said, hopefully the actual layoffs are much lower than these announcements. These announcements are typically mandated by foreign laws and other laws about layoffs.
They have to give at least a 60-day notice. Katherine, where are some opportunities for people right now?
Great question. I mean, what we're seeing as restaurants and hotels open up, I mean, air travel was down 96% in April, but that number is ticking up. People are getting back out there. It is summer. We are seeing more people who are saying, I'm going to take a little risk in order to support my local small business and live my life. So we're seeing jobs at Target, jobs at startups, jobs at 7-Eleven and other retailers like that. So people who are looking for a job may need to wrap their head around taking a job for which they are overqualified in order to get a paycheck coming in just for these next few months.
All right. Katherine Tuggle and Norm Champ, thank you so much for joining us as always. And coming up, we'll be back with more American Agenda after this.